I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for joining us here for game number 3. I look very tired because we had two awesome games so far, commentating on 5 tables each. Right. So that's 10 tables covered so far. And we've got 5 more tables here in the WTC Championship, the Warmachine World's Teams Championship, where 50 teams are battling it out to try and become the best team of 5 in the world, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we have got Canada versus Poland here taking to the stage. It's going to be an interesting match. And I'm once again joined by John on this side, Doug on the other, and I'm sure we'll have a couple of players at some point, maybe throughout this game, if not.
Ideally, yes.
If not tomorrow as well. I think we're just going to go straight into it because the players have done their matchups and have started playing, and we can see the clocks have indeed ticked down already.
And I will say this is going to be an intense matchup. Both Poland is a very good team.
Yep.
And Canada's always good, and it's not a secret that these guys, they want to win.
Yeah. I mean, both of these teams are 1-1, I think, as well.
I believe so. I believe they're 1-1, but Poland is historically a very good team and very competitive.
But that's definitely fighting for that podium there, then, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, they're 1-1 or not, they're going to go hard. And I personally know some of the Canadian guys and good guys and also very good players, so it should be a really good matchup.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, we've got David versus Mikolai here on table 1. Wormwood 1 with Circle and Kalissa 1 with the Retribution.
Right.
And I don't know that I've seen a Kalissa list in a bit.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
That I've gotten to watch, and so I'm actually really excited because she's one of my favorite casters.
Is that just because of the meta shift across the world? Obviously, the people have been playing Warmachine over TTS and other games online and stuff like that. Is it one of those things that they've developed ways to deal with her and do all that sort of stuff, or is this just a pocket pick for no reason kind of thing, or just not no reason, but you know what I mean?
No, it probably has a lot to do with what you said.
Yeah, the meta. Yeah, okay.
And just sometimes players at this level will bring out a warcaster or a warlock that hasn't been seen in a while.
Yep.
And if if their opponent hasn't played against it or hasn't had much experience against it, it makes it a little bit trickier for them.
Yeah. It's one of those things that, it's almost a gotcha in the sense that you are playing that whole list. So
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Because so many of the metas focus on the popular lists, and then they know how to play against the popular list, but then you come out with a list like Kalissa, who maybe they haven't seen in a while. Like John said, he hasn't seen in a while. And they're like, well, what does she do? So they just don't have the experience against that kind of caster, and it could trip them up.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things that you might have played against some loads before, and then you've just had no practice.
And I'd probably give her the slight edge in this situation as well. She's just really mobile, really sneaky.
Yep.
And I don't see Wormwood answering that very well, but it'll come down to positioning, really. And if Kalissa takes advantage of the advantages she has in this matchup, it'll go really well for them.
Okay, and what's like her big power play? Obviously, we saw but we've seen feats and all that sort of stuff happen from others. But what's her big sort of like crux?
Well, for me, it's like we can get into her feat in just a second, but like for me, it's just she grants a lot of mobility in the sense of she makes it very difficult for her and her people to be targeted.
Okay.
Right? Either with her feet, where she provides stealth, she's got blur, she's got a lot of different bits of her kit that allow her and the units and whatnot in her control to be able to get into position and not feel the threat from the enemy force, right?
Okay.
So it just makes it very difficult to pin her and her people down and to control your opponent as far as where she's going.
Yeah, because she's got that ability to just be a bit more fluid with what she's doing.
Yeah.
Which is quite nice. It's really nice to see. Okay, so she's got that matchup. And obviously going into the Wormwood here, which is another one we've not seen yet over the course of the tournament. And I don't know how many Wormwood lists are here. I don't think too many.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of Wormwood usually. I'm literally having to look up the card just because not really being a circle player and not seeing many Wormwood lists. So
yeah, awesome. Well, if you've got the card then, Doug, if you wouldn't mind doing me the favor and just letting me know something interesting about Wormwood.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking over like what the feat does. So Wormwood's feat is a command range becomes a forest. So this entire command range will turn into a forest, and enemy models that become knocked down while in Wormwood's command range suffer 1 damage point. Black Roots last for 1 round. So I would think that part of that strategy is he's going to have something that's going to knock models down, so they take that damage. But I'm going to have to look through his list and see. And like I said, I don't have any experience with Wormwood, but I'm reading it right now.
Right. And the thing is, you know, and actually it just got mentioned in chat as well, is creating those situations to hide the models just doesn't really negatively affect Kalissa. She can see through it, basically, right? And move around it.
Yeah, so she's got that edge in being able to just...
It denies the advantage that Wormwood would otherwise have in a matchup.
Yeah, so Wormwood's like, you know, I'm going to create points or spots where you can't see me, or I'm going to be able to hide, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like, cool, I'm going to create like a line of vision here so I can hide behind it, ready to pounce onto the next thing.
And because she has true sight, she doesn't
goes,
care if there's stealth.
Yeah.
She just doesn't care. She goes right there.
Yeah. She goes, you know, this thing right here behind this wall, yeah, dead, gun, done.
Yeah.
Next. I'll see you later. Okie dokie. So that's a brief sum up of table 1 that we've got going on. Should we have a cheeky look at table 2 whilst we're here?
Cheeky look at table 2.
Cheeky.
Table 2 has our Lucas playing Mechalith. Yeah, thank you very much. In Legion. And then we've got Marcin playing General Osram. There we go. In the Mercenaries, which is the second mercenary list that we've had on stream, actually, which is quite nice.
The French had Damiono earlier today.
Yep. I just like the sound of having a general on the table, I'm not going to lie.
It sounds good.
It does sound incredibly nice. This table obviously has the 2 cloud puffs on it as well, so stuff that you can be able to hide in or behind and potentially keep you sort of nice and safe, I would suspect. So we've got General Osram on the bottom. Very, very ranged heavy, I am implying.
Yes.
From what we've got.
Well, and he's got Tactician, you know, which means that all the other Rulik friendly models can ignore other Rulik models when determining line of sight. So they shoot through each other as well.
Yeah,
right? So you don't have to worry about like blocking your own gun line.
All of a sudden, your movement, even though it might be small on some of the bigger mechs and things like that, becomes a lot more, a lot less finicky, because you don't need to move round things anymore. You can just move behind them and almost, I don't know, create this single, like you could maximize this smoke, for example. Can't draw to save my life. Maximize this smoke, for example, and just create a line of stuff.
Oh,
right.
Man, look at you.
I think in this specific matchup, right, he's also really going to want to take advantage of Fire for Effect, which is one of the spells Osram has in his toolkit, which boosts the attack and damage rolls of friendly faction models. First range attack each activation.
Perfect.
Right. So he's gonna pick a unit in range, and he's gonna be like, these guys are just gonna punch through whatever. Right. And then if he wants to keep his units further back and basically use that gun line to maximum effect, he's going to use Snipe, which is going to add 4 to their range.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is nothing short of impressive.
And then he can also pin the enemy down with, you know, things like Stranglehold and just basically, nope, you're going to stay right there.
Yeah, okay. You got the ability to slow stuff down and potentially create holes in Lucas's army where he's trying to move other stuff.
Yeah. Osram is basically a badass shooty dwarf.
That says no.
That says, you die now.
Yeah. Thanks for playing. I'll see you in a bit.
Right.
Well, Mechanilla probably matches up pretty good with him because she's all about shooting.
Yeah.
With her feet's going to give her feat's called Troubleshoot. It's when Mechanolith's control range, friendly faction models can reroll range attacks and range damage rolls, and their range weapons gain +2 range.
Oh, Ruth.
So that's pretty good. So I'm going to guess that there's some shooting beasts in there. And it definitely looks like there is. It looks like a couple of Ravagors.
Yeah, I think we're looking at those.
They'll be dropping bombs, and then the Nerf will be, I'm sure, slipstreaming and sliding them even closer. So that's going to maximize that range, slipstreaming them closer. Her feet giving +2 range.
I imagine we'll see something like this, and then a massive feet bubble going on over here or whatever.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
So we can have it's going to be a bit of a shootout here on table 2.
Right.
I'm kind of curious to see who ends up feeding first, because awesome feet is it's a different type of play into that situation, whereas he's not, trying to like force anyone to a slipstream or anything like that, but he does basically he uses perfect plan, which gives his friendly models and units in his control range +3 armor and +3 speed, and they get Pathfinder, so even if there's terrain in the way, he's just gonna right through it.
Brilliant. So that's I mean, this board isn't a massive pain for that because there's no massive house in the center of the board or anything like that.
I imagine, based on what I'm seeing on the table, that's going to actually be moved more, so as those Nerfs and whatnot are making way up, they can move kind of out of the way and flank and fire.
Yeah.
Well, another spot where Mechanical matches up well. She has broadside, which I think is one of the key spells for her. It's gonna let her battle group shoot an extra time.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's also good. She can cast Deflection, where she's going to get +2 defense, or her battle group is going to get +2 defense against ranged attacks.
Yeah, and I think I think that's why fire for effect is important.
Absolutely.
Right, and because that's just going to make it a lot easier to try to punch through that.
Yeah, and she's not bad. She has 3 attacks of her own, and with Hellish Volley, she can cast that. It's 1 cost, and she can literally take a shot at everything in her line of sight.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. Over the years, playing Legion, I hadn't played or really looked too close at Mechanical Lilith lately, so or at all.
Yeah.
So she looks like she's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I don't know how much it's going to come up, but I always get really excited when someone plays General Ostrom, especially if they can get him into melee. Because his melee weapon, Oathbreaker, has critical decapitation.
Oof.
Which
Sounds
I
awesome.
love, because basically double damage exceeding the armor the model hit. A model disabled by the attack cannot make a tough roll, right? So even if you're playing against trolls or anyone else who likes to bust out tough, you're done.
Yeah, that
it's lovely.
decap is so good.
That is lovely. Absolutely lovely. And then we'll move cheekily. Oh, I said it. I'm going to have to stop saying the word cheeky. I'm going to let you guys take over.
No, don't stop.
We're going to move over onto table number 3 here, which has got Bubba.
King of the North.
With Irisk 2, which is Kador, versus Andreas with Fiora 4. This is the first 4 list I think we've seen.
Oh, so that's
no, because Mechanolith is.
Oh,
Lilith.
she's 4. She's
Yep.
technically Lilith 4 as well. Yeah, okay. Second 4 list. Actually, these are the only time we've seen a 4 list. In the previous 2 games, we hadn't got 4s.
No, Gorshade.
Oh, yeah, he was 4.
Was also
Yeah,
Gorshade
okay,
4.
never mind. I'm just going to shut up.
it was a good effort.
Part of the protect. I'm trying to learn. Part of the protectorate forced there for Poland.
So yeah, and I would have a hard time calling this one at the beginning.
Yeah,
I don't see a super clear advantage. I think there might be a little bit of edge with the fire for Fiora, but she doesn't have immunity cold either, right?
Okay.
I don't know that's going to come up much, but
she has immunity fire.
Right,
Well,
but I don't think Irisk is going to be doing a lot of fire.
I don't know, but there's a nice little fire cloud. I assume that's just classed as a cloud, or is that actual flames?
That
actually know
one
what
may
that
actually
is.
be fire. Yeah.
Yeah, this bit looks like a mushroom, literally.
It could be cauliflower.
Through an infrared camera after it's just been heated up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Steamed cauliflower. You heard it here, folks.
I like it.
Your terrain has plants.
I was gonna say anthropomorphized, but that's animals and humans, not plants and neoprene. I do really like the fact that the neoprene terrain can be kept so easily as well. That's quite nice to see.
It's easy to keep. It's not quite as immersive.
No.
But for a tournament at the scale, it works.
Oh, it's also cheaper and quicker to produce as well. So when you are playing with like 500-600 people in a tournament,
right.
it's a lot easier to get that tournament set up. But it does lose a little bit of the charm of 3D terrain.
Absolutely.
Controversially to that again, it has the ability to give a precise, exact footprint of stuff. If players aren't playing with like MDF shapes or whatever, do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So, although I would very much like to make 3D versions of the neoprene stuff because it'd look damn cool.
Totally.
And so again, I think this is another one where it might come down to either scenario or the choice of when to pop a feat, right? Because Irisk and Fiora they're both really angry and very aggressive casters, and they like their armies to be very aggressive and go in and get things done. And his feat is going to speed his folks up while slowing down the enemies. And I will have to re-review Fiora's, but I can
Absolutely
almost
not a problem.
guarantee it's going to be very aggressive and involve setting things on fire.
I can definitely
Yes.
pad for a little bit if needed whilst we're talking stuff. Or has Doug got something that you're looking at right now?
I'm actually looking over Fiora, just
Yeah.
looking at all the fire she's going to throw out there.
Yeah, exactly. And her feet burnt out.
Yes,
Enemy
literally.
models within 3 inches of one or more warjacks in her battle group in her control range suffer unboostable power 13 damage fire rolls and then get set on fire as a continuous effect. So, exactly. Very angry, full of burning.
You guys can't see the fact that my eyes just widened to the size of the sun for a second.
Yeah.
No
and I mean,
pain.
she's literally rocking a weapon called a flame saw.
Which isn't a terrible thing.
No, she's actually one of the cooler, smaller based units or models. I actually
Nice.
really like that version of her.
What's just out of curiosity, gents? The app that you are using to look at this sort of stuff. I've seen the players have an app that looks at that sort of stuff. What's it called?
Same thing. It's called War Room.
War Room. I knew that, but I just wanted to make sure that if anybody is watching at home and doesn't know, yeah, they're using the War Room app, and you guys can download that on the App Store and the Google Play Store.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Yep.
And it will
And it's
have
basically just a way to make sure that when we're talking about things, we're looking at the latest version. Because you got to keep in mind, like internally in the office, we'll see so many different versions. So we want to make sure we're looking at the most current errata version.
Yeah, you might have had a version in the office at one point where that was actually called like the flaming buzzsaw projector or something.
Absolutely.
And it actually threw buzzsaws at people that were on fire.
There's often
I'm making
codes.
notes right now.
That sounds
Yes.
so cool. Like what? That would be amazing. Maybe it's like a line damage weapon. Everything in the line takes X amount. Oh,
Like I almost want to say stop talking because
sorry.
I can only like take so many notes.
yeah. Well, do you know what? I'll page you.
Okay.
In fact, I'll fax you. There we go.
Ooh. Actually, I think we finally turned our fax machine
Oh my god.
off. But we had one up until not long ago.
You did not.
Yes.
Oh, Struth.
Yeah.
Okay. See, it's not just when the Australians are here that I say that. I do
No.
say that a lot. Okay.
Cheeky and struth are like my two new vocabulary words.
They're the Ben words, the keywords. Anyway, keyword number 4 will be no, wait, that's only 2. Anyway, table number
Table
4. I was trying to make a pun about we've only had 2 previous keywords. That wouldn't. Anyway, moving on. We've got Mark repping Arcean 1 here with Retribution for Canada, and then Arta with Zakova 1 in Kador, which we did see earlier today in France. Had that, or was that Australia? This is a France-Australia match.
I think
We
they
saw
had
Zakova.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have
Sorry, I meant
Recon
yeah.
too.
We've already seen Azakova as well.
Yes.
But again, I imagine they do very different things because
They do.
one's older than the other and gets more life experience, and
That's
Pretty much, but
Has a
also
family.
like I'm not actually terribly familiar with ASEAN, so I'd probably have to let Doug speak to what he thinks is going to go down there. But when it comes to a lot of Kador,
Yeah.
Zerkova is not going to like buck the trend. It's going to be a lot of clouds of mist, a lot of frost going on, and I think the thing that she's going to have that's going to be fun with this matchup is if whether or not she chooses to use her spell Ghost Walk, which basically turns the target model or unit into a very ghostly thing. They can move through things without penalties, and I'm curious to see how she's going to use that against ASEAN.
I absolutely love how you can manipulate certain things in this game to be, cool rule, can't move through this. Well, guess what? Now I can. It's quite nice.
And then her feat is also definitely going to have an impact when it gets used because she's got Howling Wind. So what that does is while in her control range, enemy models can't make ranged attacks.
All. Oh,
And, at all. And the enemy models beginning their activations in her control range, they can't run, charge, make power attacks, or special attacks. They can't give or receive orders, and they can't make special actions. So basically, they can move and do a very basic action.
That's a proper nope right there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically like it says on the tin, howling wind. There's just big, frigid, misty gales blowing through, and you just can't do anything.
I don't know why, but my brain went to this film Sharknado. But imagine with
I know of it. Yeah.
Imagine with fridges instead of sharks in the tornado.
Nice.
Because you said, yeah. Well, anyway, obviously not the word you used, but my brain just went to I don't know. She literally just yeets a fridge at somebody. It was more the fact of like I don't know the continental meat sliding out on a platter when one of the doors swings open, or the half a cow that we put in the freezer the other day. That sort of stuff. But I can dream.
Yeah.
Although, actually, a meat-giving tornado sounds amazing.
I think that's called Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs or something like that.
Yeah, that's a pretty good film. A lot of
people can't see me face palming right now.
a lot of life lessons were learned during Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and then undone with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs too. Anyway, speaking of meatballs, Ossian. I don't know why that's a link, but it is now.
That's a good segue in. Ossian's. I would think he's going to lean more shooting. His feed is definitely a benefit to shooters, given his models an extra die and his opponent models one less die on their rolls. So makes it a little easier for him to hit and makes him a little bit harder to hit. I kind of see him more as a support caster with a feat like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and then he can throw out a spell like Fortune that lets his lets a faction model or unit reroll its missed attack rolls.
Right.
And then also one of the big things is an ability we haven't seen yet today is he has Field Marshal Future Sight, and he also has Future Sight himself. And what that means is we talked about how you can boost rolls and to get that extra die. Well, usually when you decide to boost a roll, you decide ahead of time. Well, with Future Sight, you can decide post. So you can roll your dice and you're like, oh, I didn't make it. I'm going to go ahead and add this extra die now.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I like
it's
that.
It's a pretty cool ability.
It really...
I like that. Do you know why I like that? Because I'm garbage at rolling dice.
Right, exactly.
Which is why you should probably like it too, right, John?
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm the same way where
so we're all bad dice rollers.
Well, and if you're in a spot where it's you have to roll a 7 on 2 dice. Do I spend that focus to boost it, or do I because it's such a tough call at 7.
Oh, it's an average. Right. It's a dead average number on 2 dice.
So in this case, you can make that hard roll, and if you don't get it, then you're like, Future Sight, I'm going to go ahead and spend a focus and get an extra die.
I knew that was going to suck. Let me make it better.
Right.
Yeah.
Now all I need is a 5 on my 3rd dice to hit that 7.
Right.
Oh, it's another 1. What a shame. Now, I would... if it was me and I didn't have that Future Sight, I'd probably always throw 3 dice into it. Because the average on 3 is 9, right? Cool. Over them all, so...
Well, and especially like if you charge, if a model charges, their first attack, the damage roll is automatically boosted. So you don't want to miss that attack.
Yeah.
Because if you miss it, then your next attack, or if you buy any attacks, they're not boosted unless you pay for it. So you don't want to miss that first attack. So with an ability like Future Sight, and there are some other factions that have that ability, you can make sure you hit that first attack.
Perfect. So just out of curiosity, if you say charge, obviously you got your first boosted attack after charge. Could you roll your damage and then Future Sight to boost it? Or can you only do it on certain actions?
No, it's anytime you have the opportunity to boost where you could have, so Future Sight literally reads the model can boost attack and damage rolls after rolling.
Retrospectively. Oh.
Right. So it's a really good ability. I think that's one of those abilities that make up for people like us.
Mm-hmm.
That, that we're just bad dice rollers. So
do they have a faction where you can just roll more dice permanently? That'd be great, please.
There's some casters that have feats that let you roll extra dice.
True.
Yeah. Or that makes your opponent roll less dice.
Right.
That I like a lot more.
Yeah. So, or your opponent rolls 3 dice and has to drop the good one.
I don't like my opponents having fun, so let's do it. It's just a different mechanic, right? Like it's a way to be able to create an individual character with a unique rule set, and I really like the diversity in the warcasters and stuff, and I really like the diversity, and I like that character. I can take them mostly between levels 1 and 3, if not 1 and 4, or 0 and 4 as well, like which is really nice. And then we'll move over to table 5 as we've managed to slowly muddle our way through those previous tables over the past 40 minutes or so, giving you guys a bit more information and detail on what is going on or what is potentially happening with the models, which I quite like. I think that's pretty good. I'm learning a lot. I don't know about anybody at home. We've got Alex representing Canada with Lucas 1 as part of the Crucible Guard and Makej Machai. Oh, sorry, I'm so awful with pronunciation.
I only know because I have a friend named Machai.
Well, why I talk on stream when I speak like a potato that's been battered around? I don't know. But they're using Mechalith,
Right.
Mechanolith
again, or
That's it.
Mechanolith.
Mechanolith. There we go.
Actually, I like this one a lot.
Yeah. This one's going to be actually a lot of fun to watch because Lucas has juice boxes.
I'm sorry, what? Where? I would like a juice box.
No, Lucas, the caster.
Oh.
Right, has juice box.
There's me straight up like I'm thirsty. I'll take a juice box.
So I mentioned on one of the previous rounds that Crucible Guard as a faction is based on being alchemists. Right.
You
And
certainly
so his,
did.
His juice boxes, if as you will, are potions.
Like health potions or boost
and
potions.
so he has an ability called Juicer. During his maintenance phase, he can place 1 juice token on himself, and for each juice token on the model, it gets +1 focus, which is what determines his control range, how much magic he has. Right. At the end of his activations, he rolls a d6. If the result is equal to or less than the number of juice tokens on the model, then he suffers a point of damage. Right, because he's overdone it.
He is over juice.
Right. He cannot spend focus points to reduce that damage. He has to take it, basically.
Reduce that damage.
Yeah, so one of the things you can do with your focus...
Thank you.
Yeah.
Reduce...
you
got... Oh, okay. You just powered through. Oh, damn it.
I just...
Sorry, anyway, one of the things you can do to...
One of the things you can typically do with focus as a warcaster is if you have incoming damage and you still have focus on yourself that you haven't spent from your previous round, you can use that focus to mitigate the damage.
Right, okay.
Right, so basically kind of like, think of it as an arcane shield, right?
Yep.
But he also has rapid healing and a special ability called Detox.
Okay.
And he can use that ability, like if you've got way too many juice boxes on him and you're worried about, suffering that damage, you can literally just remove any number of them.
I'd just like to think that he's gone to the supermarket and bought 1 too many Capri Suns or something.
That's what I always think.
Yeah, like but it's why I love him.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
And he's also got rapid healing.
Yeah.
So when he's damaged by an enemy attack, meaning not his juice boxes, immediately after the attack is resolved, he can roll a d3 and remove that damage from the attack.
Oh, wow. Right, okay.
So that's not even spending focus.
Wow.
Because then he can spend the focus on top of that to mitigate further damage.
Oh, so he's a bit of a tank then himself.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Truth. That's amazing. Oh, I did it again. That's amazing. So the players are playing on a bit of a topsy-turvy matchup. We've not got all players from one country on one side, which is absolutely fine. They're in their right to do it. But we've currently got, I think, Canada is at the bottom of your screen, and Poland is rocking at the top of your screen. What I should really do, and I might do tomorrow, is rotate them. So we're playing left to right, and they match up with the flags that we've got on the stream.
Oh, there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then we'll always have regardless, I can just flip them in real time, and we can have that on stream.
Yeah.
It will mean we're playing left to right instead of up to down, but that's absolutely fine with me if it's all right with you guys.
Works for me.
Ben, I'm still looking at this last table 5, and this Mechanolith list is pretty different than the Canadian Mechanolith that we have on table 1, I believe.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see how she does with. She's got a couple of my favorite models, Azrael and Zuriel.
Table 2 is the other one.
Table 2 was. On table 5 with Azrael and Zuriel, well, with Mechanolith, she's going to, with Broadside, give a model like Azrael an extra toss of his spear, and so he can end up with three ranged attacks with his spear, which can light things on fire, and the single turn, and it's one of the stronger ranged weapons going. I believe it's still one of the strongest ones at POW 17. So I'm interested to see how it turns out. And Zuriel is kind of the Legion ninja beast. He's quick and sneaky and can hit pretty hard. So I'm actually a big fan of this list.
Yeah, and this matchup, like I said, is a lot of fun because you do have those hard-hitting beasts on McCann's side, but you've also got, as mentioned before, a lot of tankiness.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of armor on Lucas.
Yeah, and he can overdose, which is his feat, right?
Yep.
And that just basically gives him another juice box and focus point, and it gives all his warjacks a focus point to do free stuff with.
Oh, sorry.
It's just
Does it actually say the words juice box in the in the book? Sorry, not in the book, in the room.
let me
Please don't
show you the
Don't
thing.
wait.
Right, so Demore immediately gains 1 juice token.
We should definitely change that to box.
It says token. I just like
Yeah, we should
box.
definitely say that box. A little bit of feedback coming in from the chat saying tomorrow I change the gaming mats to something like this table because it's so light. It's much easier to spot the models. You are correct. It is. However, all of the tables have different terrain and different rules that come with that terrain. So whilst it is easier, you can't exactly have I don't know, fire pit in the middle of an Iceland, can you really?
Yeah. And Piotr even pointed out the same thing. Each table is very different from one another. It comes down to the terrain.
Yeah, which, don't get me wrong, it is a little bit frustrating for us to be able, or not frustrating, it's a little bit difficult for us to tell who is what is going on, all that sort of stuff from the top down. But we are covering 5 different tables here for you guys to be able to try and give you as much coverage as possible.
Swing over to table 2 briefly.
Yeah, let's do that.
Want to see what he's got going in here. So he's using his proxy base to set this, basically this wreck marker, more or less, I believe. That's what he's got going on here. It's kind of hard to see. at this angle.
That looks like a massive, I'm literally looking at it.
Basically, it's stuff in the way.
Oh,
right?
right,
So he's
okay.
looking to, provide cover and stuff like that.
Look at the size of it. It's huge. That wasn't on the table at the start of the game.
Yeah. No.
Is that something that gets summoned in?
I'm trying to get a good read on it, but it's all gray, so I'm gonna have to actually get up and look at it.
That's the problem. We don't want to get
Yeah.
up, and we are away in the same room as the tables, but we are a little bit away from them so that we can make sure that we can talk to them and be able to just quickly nip in and out and check things like John has just done there.
Okay, I can see what he's done. What he's done is he's got his colossal or battle engine, that he's separated. So that's just the lower half, so you don't have to deal with the overhang.
Okay. I wondered what the top.
It's
bit
the
was.
legs of his Earthbreaker.
So
Yeah, Simon nailed it right there in chat.
hang on. So the top is that bit there.
Yep.
So
Yeah, he's just got it set off to the side.
there's me thinking, oh, he's just having it look the other way for whatever reason, but actually not. It is this plus this equals smiley face.
Yeah, because and exactly as Simon just pointed out, wreck markers haven't actually been in the game since the edition previous to this one.
Which is quite a while ago, isn't it?
It was, but like I have played a lot
Of course,
Warmachine
of
across all
course.
the different editions. So, like I said, my brain will mix them. I'm not to be trusted.
The Canadian player name was Lucas, and I was confused at first if it was Lucas or Mechalith. Nope, Mechanolith.
Yep.
Mechanolith. Yep, I'll get that.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? It's that K.
Mm-hmm.
My brain doesn't see it right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yes, Lucas is spelled with a K in game, isn't it?
Yeah, for Lucas Demore.
Yeah,
Yep.
of course. And then Mechanolith is also spelled with a K.
Yeah.
I reckon somebody just didn't have a C on their keyboard when they wrote those names.
Yeah. No, we don't believe in the letter C.
Pretty much. All right, so we've got. Oh, we haven't actually talked about the mission. We're playing Recon 2.
Electric
we?
Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo. For those of you guys at home who are wondering, players had all the zones and stuff set up before we began.
So if you look on this table here, you'll see the 2 objective markers. Yep, those guys there.
Oh.
At the corners of those rectangular zones, which are those bits there. Oh, you've got multiple colors and everything. Look at you go.
You know what I should have done? I drew the box.
Well, you know.
Isn't that way better? Oh, I'm gonna.
You've gone too far. You've dug too deep.
I was hasty and greedy. Okay, you leave me be, sir. You leave me be. So these are the
And so-
objective markers. Yep, and they're the zones.
And so one of the reasons that I like setups like this is it makes the fight end up having to be, because it's symmetrical, it ends up making the fight asymmetrical. Because are you like going to try to hold this zone and work slowly to deny your opponent the other?
Yep.
Or are you going to split your forces, or are you just going to try to go for the caster kill? Like it
Yeah.
It asks a lot of questions of both players.
Yeah, so I think what we're probably going to see here, from my very limited knowledge, but Marcin is going to be able to, we've seen it sort of started to come out, create a little line over here this way,
Yeah.
and sort of protect this zone, I guess, before sending a couple of little things over here just to deal with the other objective in time, or at least add mild pressure to make sure that Lucas has to deal with it.
Right, and if he can maintain that pressure, then that'll work out really, really well.
Certainly
But McKenna Lilith has a lot in her kit to deal with that we were talking about earlier. Doug was pointing out, like the range attacks, boosting all the attacks, and just basically getting in there and wrecking faces.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a quick question. Have you tried the WTC beer that we were given?
It's really good.
I haven't yet. We left it here overnight by accident.
It is quite lovely.
We took it up to the fridge, and it's in the fridge, so we'll pop one of those when we get back home. Or to the room.
Ours are in the fridge as well, but other people like pass them on either.
Of course.
Don't drink or
Hey,
just
sharing is caring.
Yep.
You know. And then a technical request. We're actually using the OBS software, Open Broadcast software, mixed with some custom coded stuff to give the players, so that all the timers and control points should be updated on the stream. And then a couple of little bits of other stuff, like all of our drawing is done using an app called Epic.
Epic.
Brilliant. It is epic. It is epic. You missed it, Doug, but we were able to just discuss about these zones on the board,
Right.
and these objectives, and then all this sort of. Oh, it was great. It was absolutely.
You missed us actually looking rather professional.
It looked real. It looked real.
Ben, do you know who John Madden is?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Why?
The team that scores more points is going to win the game.
Well, because Ben's telestrating.
Right.
And I feel like that was, an original Madden thing with the telestrator.
I mean, I could definitely throw it out the window if you don't want it to.
No, I love it.
It makes the game.
Yes, I'm jealous that you're telestrating, and
Do you want to do it?
no, I don't think that's a good
Okay.
plan.
Well, the upgrade for the stream is eventually to get two big, like 27-inch monitors. This will be here instead, and you guys will be able to draw.
Yeah, those tilty fun.
Yeah. So it'll be a lot easier.
Like
for you guys.
Cintiqs or
Yeah.
something.
Well, no, it'll just be a touchscreen monitor because you can buy them.
Gotcha.
And what that means is that only one of you can draw at a time, which means we don't look like some kind of like Jackson Pollock or Da Vinci level artwork. Although that sounds, we should do that. Anyway, we've got a question coming in for from Novalord saying, where can we see the standings table or previous results? If you head on over to
it's on Tiebreak. So if you just do a Google search with my setup here, it's difficult to get the link, but let me see if I've still got it in the
old paste.
Boop. There we go.
We still do.
All right, so right there's the link, but it's it's on Tiebreak, and for those later who can't see the chat or can't see the link, you can just go to Google and say Tiebreak WTC.
Yeah,
and it's the first result.
Yeah. So Recon has flags in the zone corners and objectives on the left, right, center line at the back of the zones. Yes.
Yep.
You are absolutely correct. I am a noob, so you're gonna have to just excuse me for getting the differentiation between flags and this is Recon 2. I don't know if that makes a difference, Simon.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yep.
I can't see objective markers, but I can definitely see flags.
Yep. That's what your orange tokens are there.
They are indeed.
We were
Absolutely.
supposed to call it Electric Boogaloo
I
too.
have been.
Is that what we've been told to do?
That's what I was told by
That was
one of
that
the
was
judges.
the request by the head judge.
Right.
Seth,
Yeah.
Seth, we
Okay.
got you. There's your shout out.
There you go. I'm just trying to find which table is which
I
because
believe
I
it was
forgot.
3.
Is it 3?
Nope, that's Fiora, so it must be
Must
4.
be
Yep,
4.
yes.
Yeah, a quick request for the Zakova table here.
I can see why. All right,
Supreme.
so, yeah, basically exactly kind of what I thought might happen is happening, where they are just getting into each other's faces.
We've still got our 2 zones here, but it's definitely looking a little more promising here for.
Yeah, the camera's a little kipped, but they are parallel.
Oh yeah, ignore my bad drawing. I'm sorry, but
No, your drawing's fine.
we seem to have. Nope, that's a box, Ben. We don't want that. We seem to have.
Box.
All right, F1 fan right here. Arta being able to push his lines sort of up to that midway point, and you know, putting one of his big. What are these called again?
So those
These
are called the Dawn Guard Trident, and they're basically a hovering mobile gun platform.
Those
Perfect.
are really cool looking.
They're
Yeah.
so dope. Yeah,
I like those a lot.
yeah, and the number one thing that's been my takeaway, outside of like the camaraderie, etc., is the paint jobs on so many of these models.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they are cool, but the paint job just listen to a next level, right? When you've got a mediocre sculpt like that.
Oh, I knew that was coming. Oh, Ben.
Served it up. Excellent.
I
Oh, dude.
asked for that one.
You teed it.
did.
I just
You
knocked it
did.
out the park.
You held up this silver platter, and he just went for it.
They're amazing. I love them. Do you know what? I think one of the best decisions. I wasn't here during a time when Hordes and Warmachine were 2 different games. But
Well, you're here right now,
but
and they're currently
one.
different but the same.
Well, that's my point. Is the fact that they can be interchanged and played together was one of the best things ever.
Yeah.
Like
It's very cool.
you've got the option to mix that sort of stuff, and I can imagine maybe it happens already. I'm not as versed in experience as the pair of you, but you could potentially create casters that breach both of those. Like, I don't know, some kind of like zombified steampunk war machine dude or something at some point in the future.
There are plenty of zombified steampunk.
Can they be used in a classic
cricks.
war machine army or a hordes army?
Well,
That's what I'm-
so in Mark IV, it's just one thing.
Oh yeah, okay, fair play,
Right.
fair play.
So you've got warlocks and you've got warcasters.
Okay.
And even in the current edition, even in Mark III, the difference is that warlocks use fury
And yeah,
and warcasters use
Well,
focus.
yeah, okay.
Right, and the way those interactions work between warbeasts and warjacks with the warcasters and warlocks is kind of the opposite effect.
Right. It's like a flipped mechanic.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, I like that.
So you don't, as you push your warbeasts to do things, they start to accumulate fury.
But they hate you.
They get pissed.
Yeah, of course.
Right. And then as a warlock, you can then pull that fury off of them and use that to power your spells. Because if you don't, they can go wild.
And explode. Well, not explode,
Right.
but go crazy and
No, there are
just.
some that explode.
That's true.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait, hang
there
on.
are in fact some
Hang
that
on. Whoa,
explode.
hang on a minute. Is there a possibility that I can get this sort of bombing arm? Like I can just send my guys in to just blow up.
Cask imps in the
Oh,
Grimkin
yes.
army.
What?
Those guys are
Totally do that.
literally carrying caskets of like very,
Explosives.
very flammable, explodable booze.
Doesn't Crick still have a model that when you kill it, it explodes?
A number of them.
Oh,
Okay.
don't
That's
don't.
the-
Oh,
bile thralls, maybe?
The bile thralls deflate can deflate themselves in poison,
Okay.
corrosive poison. Mechanothralls, one of the types of mechanothralls, I can't remember which one, actually has a necrotite bomb in it, and when you kill it, it blows up.
Seems like a good thing.
that seems like definitely what you want on a Saturday afternoon. But Christine would like to have a cheeky look at table 1, and I suppose we can have a jump back over here.
So we're back over here at the Calissa and Wormwood one.
Yes.
And again, I'm really tempted to give the favoritism to Calissa on this one, but watching what David's doing here real quick.
Right, that's everything north of that is David's lines basically at the moment.
There's a bit coming through here.
Christine, the answer to your question is we just have the top-down cameras because we're running 5 different tables at a time right now. So we do have limitations on how many cameras we have, so it's just 1 camera on each table.
But if you do want to buy more cameras, feel free to let me know, and we can hook that up. If you want to get me another 10 cameras,
Right.
then we can do 2 side views.
Or if you subscribe to Ben's OnlyFans account, it will help him buy cameras.
I call it only hams, and it's just copious amounts of pictures of ham sandwiches.
That's funny. I call mine
Now I want a
only
ham sandwich.
Hamiltons. Much like yours.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I
Quite as good,
I
but-
still want a ham sandwich now.
yeah. Well, I mean, did you have those sandwiches yesterday? One with the like pancetta and all that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Was that the orangey shred stuff? Is that?
With the pickle. Yeah.
I don't even know what that was.
it's the one.
Delicious.
It's the one that had the word meat under it, so I
Yeah.
chose it.
Yeah,
Well,
it was delicious.
That was my criteria for choosing a
It
sandwich.
was like a meat sauce
Yeah.
spread with a pickle.
I didn't want to try it because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I put a lot of that in my face. It was great.
Now I'm thinking about dinner tonight. I wonder
Which I hope involves ham.
Sure, fine.
I mean, it is Belgium, and there is actually a pretty fair amount of dishes with ham.
There is.
Yeah,
There
I
is.
will take it. I love a good yambon. You see that?
Ah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hear it. You didn't really see it.
You with your French.
Yeah, we. I
We.
Jumbo?
yeah. It's the language I did at high school for all of 3 years, and did absolutely nothing but remember the word for frog, which I can't actually say. Quenolwi, I think it is
Sounds
You're
right.
a,
is
don't
the
look at me.
pronunciation for
That
frog.
sounds right, but I can't confirm.
I just think it's a fantastic word.
I'm just watching David get these guys in place here, and I'm wondering if he's actually going to be able to knock him off the objective. I don't
What have we got?
believe he's going to be able to, but
So David's bases on the particularly bigger stuff have that 50-50 black and white sort of base rim. What is the reasoning for that?
facing.
So
It's
it's
showing the front arc of those individual models.
so we only have 2 arcs in.
And it goes away in Mark IV. Facing
Oh.
no longer matters.
Wow, that's. I mean that is a. I was gonna say cataclysmic change, just to try and put emphasis on the word, but it's an enormous change to the
It
game.
is. It is.
I remember when other game system, which will not be named, went away from using facings to non-facings, and again, it comes back to that point earlier I was saying about accessibility.
Well, it speeds the game up a lot.
Yeah, speeds it up, gives accessibility. It's a little more forgiving on positional mistakes as well.
A little bit.
Which is quite nice, but it means that you potentially put that time into focusing on more about distance, like
Yeah,
rather than
it
pivoting.
really comes down to the range, not your tilt.
Yeah, of course, which kind of makes it, particularly on a war machine that probably rotates 360 at the hinge anyway,
Yeah.
at the hips. Sorry, like it doesn't really matter.
Chip. All the same.
Oh, you might need to rotate that. There we go.
Because I was chewing and I didn't want to chew in anyone's ear because someone dropped off chocolate of all things,
You are in Belgium, sir,
and I'm hungry.
and there's going to be chocolate.
And there's chocolate.
Simon says that on table 2. These
Wait, what did you just say?
There's chocolate.
No, he said Simon says.
nice. I like that. This is why I like the little tables in the bottom corners as well.
People can see cool stuff about to happen.
They can see some stuff about to happen and help draw our attention to it. Potentially having a mechanolith. Oh my god!
got it.
About to feet possibly here to try and get rid of that Earthbreaker. Earthbreaker being, I imagine, one of the bigger parts of Narkin's list, Martin's list. We've got the big old. I think this big thing over here is the Earthbreaker, isn't it? It is an Earthbreaker. The other half of it is just sat over here. So they don't have to deal with the overhang.
What am I looking at?
So we've got Marcin's army with General Awesome, and
Oh yeah, I guess he could have an Earthbreaker.
that's the Earthbreaker.
We
can have a look at it straight away in IRL. See the feet that are just there on the middle?
Yeah, it's a blockader, I believe.
This one at the back. Is that one at the back? There's the blockader, or is that the...
It looks like the blockader. Because the Earthbreaker is more turtle-like.
Is that what the head is over there? That's the question.
Yes, that's a blockader head. It looks like.
This bit.
Yeah, it's a blockader.
Okay, so this is the blockader here, and then this is the Earthbreaker at the back, potentially. With this little, like, turtle sort of body.
Is that what it says on the list? Maybe they're using.
double-
Maybe he's using a proxy model.
Oh, he might be using a proxy model, actually. That is a very good...
I only say that because I sculpted the Earthbreaker about 10 years ago,
Oh, you did it?
and it was one of my first models I ever did, and
That's not it.
Well, I'm sure it will be godlike. Let me double check.
Oh, it's not.
Oh. Never mind. Shut down.
It looked like the art.
Mercenaries. They're both mercenaries.
Right.
Awesome. We have got General Osram, an
Right.
Artificer Prime
Mm-hmm.
with a Centurion in it, and Asphyxius the Sanctified. And is that it? That looks like all the big stuff in there.
And this is for the Ostrom list?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
And there's not a blockader.
There is no blockader. I think. How many points are they? I'll read through it. We've got Osram, who has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Grundback gunners. Artificer Prime Nemo, which is Nemo and 3 Mechaninks for 18. Artine, which has the Centurion in it.
Are we sure he's playing Ostrom? And it's not Nemo? I'd have to go look at the table. I can't quite make out the model.
Well, the other option is Magnus the Warlord with a blockader in it. Yeah.
This list has a blockader in it for sure.
So we've got the wrong name on here. That's absolutely fine.
Okay.
I will change it over to Magnus right now.
Makes more sense. And that's normal for the blockader for whatever reason. That it seems like they have their legs out there and the upper torso sitting on the side.
Sorry about that, chat.
No.
Let me change that over to Magnus the Warlord. Is he Magnus 2 or something?
Have to look. I don't remember which one's which. We call them Magnus 1 and Magnus 2. So the extra titles. They get
Oh,
lost.
hang on. There is a Nemo in this list as well, but isn't the first one that you put up your caster?
Well, there's a version Nemo that is a caster. This probably is obviously not the version because that looks like Nemo down at the bottom here.
Oh, that's Nemo.
Yeah. So he's I guess he's technically a battle engine.
I've got Artificer Prime Nemo, which is
Right.
Nemo and 3 Mechaninks.
Right. Exactly. 3 mechanics.
Yeah.
Well, that's where you're at.
Yeah, mechanics.
We say mechanics. You can say mechanics.
But it looks like Mechaninks. Because I would use a C at the end of that from a normal spelling of mechanic.
You know what, Ben? I need you for 2 more days, so I'm going to agree with you. You're 100% right. Mechanics it is.
Oh, dear me. No, let's go with mechanics. Okay, so that's Magnus 2. Thank
So
you.
it's Magnus 2 with Nemo and a blockader. And I think I saw that in chat earlier, too, when we were talking about it. Yeah, Nicholas mentioned Nemo and a blockader.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
That's my bad. Apologies.
No, we're gonna miss some of the.
But that's the thing. 10 tables, right? We can always miss. Is it list 1 or 2? Oh, it's list 3. What? That can always happen.
Should only be list 1 or 2, but they're still with what do we have? 500 lists.
Yeah.
Minimum?
Yeah. Minimum 500 plus the singles lists as well.
Right.
Gets quite heavy on those lists, which is unfortunate, but makes sense. So we've got Nemo down here, and then we've got the blockader up
That's
here.
exactly right.
Brilliant. And then this looks like is that Mechanolith?
No, she'll be on a small base.
On a tiny base.
Yeah, she's on, I believe, 30 mil.
Oh, okay. So she's hiding away pretty much.
Yeah, from our angle here, I can't quite tell.
Right, I'm gonna go and have a cheek.
Yeah,
I know exactly what she looks like. So with the update of Magnus, do you prefer Magnus or do you prefer Osram in a list?
Oh, I mean, probably Magnus, just because I have a friend of mine back home that is a diehard Magnus fan, loves everything about him. So I would have to go after Magnus just because that's what Andy would want. It's his go-to. He's hoping to see him in the next version of the game and play Magnus for another 20 years. What did we find out, Ben?
I found out one thing for certain. There are models on that table.
Yes.
Okay.
So you couldn't track her down. She was
think
stealthy.
She is, because we're looking at it backwards to the way it is, she is in this cluster over here by the looks of things.
No, that's not where she would be. She would have to be on the other side.
Yep, because I'm looking at the wrong army. In actual fact, then, she is closer to the middle than I wanted her to be. I am just going to really quickly reference the model so I can double check what I've got.
Yeah, she's on the flip side. We're upside down, so it's
Oh, it's this lady. Right,
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
In that case, she's
she's on the top of our screen somewhere.
somewhere up here. In that case,
Yeah.
give me 2 seconds.
Absolutely. We're slowly teaching Ben about Warmachine and what models look like and where you hide your caster, and so he's sketching on. We'll have him doing streams of painting Warmachine in no time, on top of helping us out this weekend at the WTC. Any luck finding her, Ben? All right, Telestrator time.
Yeah, she's rocking some green hair, actually, which is quite interesting.
Well, that's the thing, is you can paint the models up however you want.
He's just here. Flat bang in the center of his lines.
She's hitting away pretty good.
Yeah. But with that range, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because if things are going to be near you.
Yeah, the big thing is he's going to, or she's going to be dropping dropping shots and Ravagore shots. And the Ravagore shots, you'll see the templates out there. They're leaving little puddles of acid for models to walk through. So if they walk through those, they'll take a point of damage. I can't remember if it's acid or I think it's actually like green fire now.
Yeah, that's fair. Geodark, yeah, I did ask. So basically, full disclosure, I didn't really know a massive amount about Warmachine before I was here this weekend. And I've done some research and stuff into it, but never get as much information as I'd like from actually being here. So I'm here to host, and I've got John and Doug to make look good. And they're the ones with the inside information. And every now and then we can get players to come on and have a chat with us too, which is super duper nice. So apologies for that, but I did ask the committee that brought me here if they would prefer top down or like sort of side down cameras, and they said let's try top downs. So one of those things that we'll review. It's one of the great things about this. We can go back, look at it, make a decision for next time, and see if it was best or worst, and then we can adjust accordingly.
I wonder if tomorrow for one of the late matches or like the final match, if we can just angle one of the second cameras at the first table and have 2 cameras on it, so one shifted a little bit.
Yeah, depending what we want to do with the final stuff, I'll have a chat with you guys later about it probably. I might be able to fit a couple more cameras on our feature table.
Yeah.
And then have the rest of the tables still as they are, so we can flick back to them as needed, just to be able to be like, this is the current state.
Right. Yeah, just to get a little as it gets a little bit more intense, and we get later into the tournament, that maybe get an extra angle or two. But we're just feeling things out here. We're figuring it out. We're showing 5 games, so just trying to bring the best we can to you. And the commentary is going to be a little bit all over the place, but we're having a good time, and the attendees are having fun.
Full disclosure, feedback is really appreciated. So you can either publicly just tell us, or you can email it on over to diceandducks@gmail.com, and I will do my best to get back to you, or certainly have a look at it at least, and take it on board.
And if you haven't hit the subscribe button to Dice and Ducks, please do so.
Massively appreciate that. Yeah,
hit the little bell at the bottom.
Full disclosure, there have been 130 new subscribers since I started doing the Warmachine stuff, which is crazy.
Nice. That's great.
The goal, and we're not massive, we have only just started the channel recently, but the goal is to grab, after separating from my previous agreement, but the goal is to get 1,000 subscribers, and we're nearly halfway there thanks to you guys. So
I think the Warmachine community can kick that up a few spots.
Well, I can pretty much guarantee you that there will be there's no pretty much. There is a solid guarantee, a Ben Bailey promise, nevertheless.
Oh, here it comes.
There will be more Warmachine content on this channel.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Whether it's hobbying or more likely gameplay, but also I'm going to have to paint these stuff, so that's going to have to. And my partner Kitty as well. She's shown a real interest in getting a hold of these minis and painting them too.
Yeah, she does. And also. Big thanks to her too. I know she helped you out setting up.
Yeah, she's literally my rock. She's been awesome. She kept me company in the car, and helped me set up on Friday, and has also done a great job of being able to go around each table.
Right.
Yeah, it was the matchups, and also give us the army lists for each player too.
Yeah, she's really helping a lot. I mean, we came in yesterday when you were setting up, and she's running cables and fixing cables and doing everything that Ben needs. And then today running to each table and getting screenshots of the list so we have them. So
Well, she needs to earn her keep, mate. That's
absolutely.
I think I'm earning mine at this point rather than the other way around. And also a huge thank you to the WTC team and yourselves as well. You know, them hosting us and you guys coming to help me commentate on the game has been huge.
Yeah, definitely. It's so far it's been a great experience. The WTC team, we gave out their an award to the logistics team for making it happen, and the first ever Torchbearer Award for contributions to the community. And so the Belgian WTC committee logistics team, they were able to make this happen. They were able to get locations changed from Poland to here in Belgium, and just got it all set up. And it's the facility is great for an event. They have meals that are provided. So we have breakfast, lunch, and dinner today. We have breakfast and lunch tomorrow.
We have dinner.
We have and we have dinner tomorrow
We have
too.
dinner, yeah.
Because we have blue wristbands.
2 different, yeah. And then that's the great thing as well. They've offered different packages, which are at a different price point for different people. And that's absolutely wonderful because then it's all about the inclusion and getting as many people
Right.
as possible in one place.
And also having the meals here on site. You know, you don't have players wandering off or getting stuck at a restaurant somewhere. You can keep the schedule flowing and everybody's here, and there's not somebody that was stuck in traffic or their food took too long, so the round is delayed by an hour.
Or didn't turn up until 5 hours
yes,
later.
exactly.
In fact, more than. Yeah, it is crazy. We was just saying, John, thank you very much for joining us. And the WTC team have done a cracking job of running an awesome event so far.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's absolutely wonderful. Well, I'll let you. You can now make as much noise as you like because they can't hear you. But we were just saying there's definitely going to be more content. And I've just had a crazy idea, right? No, for not this tournament, but another tournament that we'll stream eventually, I assume. At some point, we'll head out and just stream random tournaments because we can.
Yeah, why not?
Have the top-down camera, but also have a slimline camera below it.
Yep.
So we can have this, you know, the 4x4 that would sit like, I don't know, up here somewhere, obviously slightly smaller square, but then have a really thin sort of like side-on view of stuff, or even slightly elevated.
That's how we've done it.
And that'd give us a really good, like, you guys at home, a two-point reference and stuff like that too. I'm also looking at potentially streaming the same stream to multiple areas at the same time, so you guys can flick between the tables yourselves rather than having us do it. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
Not this event though. Definitely something we would like to do in the future. Let's have a cheeky rundown of what tables we've got as people joining in late or watching back when partway through will go. We have got David with Wormwood 1 and Circle playing against Nikolaj.
So this is kind of what I was talking about.
Kalissa.
Right? Is right now we don't have any control points scored.
Yep.
Which is not terribly surprising because both of these armies have each other pretty good and well tied up at the moment.
Yep.
But if we look at the lower half of the screen here, right, we can see all of the units that they're still available.
Yep.
On the Retribution side, and we're starting to see a dwindling of what we've got available on David's side.
Yeah, there's just like sort of, you can see, in fact, you can start to see the gaps where things potentially were before.
Right.
Just in his lines and stuff like that, all getting a bit.
And so as Macaulay gets units fed over, yep. So I'm gonna keep the bit on our right contested, and then looks like very much going to
Keep
be able
this
to
bit.
swing in and get that left objective.
Keep that
taken.
contested. Dip a toe onto that. Get ahead on those points and do that from there.
Yeah.
Wonderful work. All right.
Especially because he's going to have the mobility to do so.
Yeah, naturally. And this is table 1, and then we'll nip over to table 2, which is our. We got the name. It was Magnus too that was playing, not General Awesome.
Oh.
Because Magnus's list has the Nemo in it.
Ah. Okay. That makes sense now.
Obviously, I didn't know that because I didn't know what Nemo looked like until just now.
And for me, it was off the screen a bit.
Of course it was. It was probably hidden under the table too, so you definitely wouldn't have been able to see it. Which is another reason why the side to side might be useful.
Right. Right.
So I can flip those. I can flip those around.
So that makes me rethink a few things here.
So we've got blockade, Yeah, the blockade.
Blockader.
Yep,
Yep.
up there. Nemo down here. We've got our lovely green-haired
Mechanolith.
I was just about to get there, Mechanolith. I've been told that I shouldn't be called them mechanics. I should be called them mechanics.
Mm.
You like mechanics, don't you? You like mechanics now, but only to keep me happy.
Yeah, that's important. Mechanics.
We'll call them mechanics.
No, they're mechanics.
It just made more sense. It's mecha something, right?
I like it. I think
Yeah.
mechanics works.
Is it an army of nicks that are just mecha?
No nicks,
No,
just mechanics.
we don't like nicks.
And I'm
Right.
sitting here looking at. Right here. What
We've got that, as you said before. We've got that sort of stalwart protection.
Yeah.
Although that looks like there are a couple of Lucas's models going into there from here.
Trying. Yeah.
But I imagine the blockader will just be contesting that objective or protecting that objective
Holding,
massively,
Yeah.
holding it away because it is all the way over in this corner,
Looking-
isn't it?
Yeah, and looking to get anyone contesting it to potentially contest it to stay away.
Yeah, of course. So that's a really strong position for
Well, and his force basically kind of has to go after the one that's on the opposite side, and vice versa, right? Otherwise, he's not going to get the control points he needs to win on scenario.
yeah. So that's the current divide almost. And I think with
Yeah.
this like awesome amount of firepower coming out of the rest of the army here, we might be able to pick off a couple of little things.
As Chap mentioned, the round counter down at the bottom, it's not active at the moment.
No, the players have just actively decided not to use it.
Oh,
It's not because it doesn't work. It definitely
no,
does
I'm
work.
just saying it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
active at the
Yeah,
moment. They're
they-
not actively using it.
They just straight up decide not to
Yeah.
use it.
Yeah.
Which makes it very difficult to know what turn each of them are on. But there's no set number of turns, is there, in Warmachine?
You can, yeah,
In certain missions.
yeah, in certain missions. I think this one's a 7.
Right, okay, fair play.
round.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
It's
otherwise,
like
you know,
sword
like,
fighting.
yeah,
laser swords.
Right.
I can offer you a pencil, but I need it back. Thank you.
Did table one wrap
That's
up?
table
Yep,
one
it
wrapping
looks
up
like it
just
just
after
did.
we're
I
talking.
wonder if the caster kill happened.
I assume with the conversation going on from you want to go and have a look, John. I assume with the I don't know if it's this way, but in most other games that I played tournaments at, the winner usually fills out the submission form.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Because the non-winner, I don't want to say loser, the non-winner is not happy and does not want to write anything.
Let's call them the other participant
The other participant,
or player. Yeah.
the lesser mechanic.
Yeah. There you go. You've
Oh no, I got the cheeky mechanic.
cheeky mechanic.
Yeah,
Mm.
I feel like there's
How
going to be a model. For
How about the
this.
naughty? Oh, is there? Oh, come on, make a mechanic for
the
me.
cheeky mechanic?
Yeah. Maybe he's got a couple of spare juice boxes lying around. Different faction, but that's not the point.
So I don't know if you have the hats here or where you're at. You know, where it's like a helmet hat, and then there's 2 drinks on each side. of the
Yeah, a
helmet.
beer hat.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
They're everywhere, right?
Or a beer helmet. You sound what? Silly.
I said I feel a lot less silly because when I was looking at this table and I was noticing that Calissa's just holding the points, our players had forgotten to hit the control points buttons.
Oh,
So yeah,
right.
he took it on scenario by getting that 5-point gap. And I'm because I was looking at it earlier and I'm like he's just dominating that spot, and sure enough.
Yeah, just looking going, where are the control points? Well, let's nip over to table 2. Also, not got any control points. I imagine they're doing the same thing
Very
and forgetting to
possibly.
do it.
Yeah.
But we'll go on over to table 3. That is a first win for Poland, 1-0 up out of 5.
Yep.
First to 3 at this point, basically. But yeah, table 3, we've currently got Bubba with Iris 2 and Kador against Andres. Oh. And I can't say that. I'm really sorry. I don't want to butcher it. But you have one of my favorite names. I love the name Fiora.
Yeah, no, and she's one of my favorite casters as far as Protectorate is concerned, across any incarnation, 1 through 4.
It's nothing to do with the fact that one of my favorite League of Legends characters is spelt differently, but also called Fiora.
Oh,
True. Yep.
But I really do like the
Also
name.
very angry. They're
So
both
very French.
very angry and just terribly angry.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. She's a winning duelist, but this Fiora is more of a
Burning
I was gonna say
duelist.
rocket scientist.
No, remember she's the one that's got the flame
The
saw,
flame saw, yeah. But my
Yeah.
brain, for some reason, just thought she would also fire rockets.
which is basically a
It's
big
fire.
sword that has a cycling flame on it.
You know, that definitely could yeet out buzzsaws at people. I'm just saying.
I could.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've taken notes.
If you need some mildly creative ideas, just come and talk to me.
Ben's already designed a mini crate miniature, so
Does it have flaming buzz saws?
it might. He hasn't given it rules yet. We were just gonna call it the cheeky mechanic.
But it's Mecha Space Nick,
Right.
not Mechanic.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
like a guy named Nick
Yeah, yeah.
who is also Mecha.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
I
he
got it.
he could have an arsenal of flaming blade. Like,
If you have a mech,
Flame
why
swords.
why not?
yeah.
Sky's the limit.
I like the fact maybe he's got like a chest rack of rockets as well.
Yeah, just
We kind of can't really do
Yeah.
chest racks anymore.
No, no.
moving on to table 4. All right, so we've got a number of things going on with this one.
All right, pintle mounted then.
Sorry.
We're looking at
One of the
Mark is going to do his damnedest to try to keep Arter from getting that winning control point next turn.
I was gonna say we've seen one of our lovely, what were they called again? The big models,
In this case, it's a battle engine.
battle engines. Yeah, we've seen one of our lovely battle engines actually go down.
Yep. So
Um,
we've got one of the Dawn Guard Tridents off the table, which is not great for Mark
Yep.
because again, that's one of his primary mobile gun
Yeah.
platforms, and it's a significant investiture of points.
Yeah.
Whereas over on the Zerkova side, there's a lot of really good position there, and so if we can basically get that objective cleared so that he can score that point, that's gonna end up being the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mark is currently 4 points down here against Arthur, and
Just verifying some measurements to make sure they're either within or not contesting or are contesting, and that's
I really like the lack of restrictions on putting tokens and stuff on the table, and the pre-measuring stuff's allowed.
Yeah.
Like I like that in a game. I think the lack of pre-measuring in some games can be quite daunting to it sometimes.
well, and that's something that actually came in with Mark 3.
Yeah.
Because before you had to basically use
Yes.
weaponized trigonometry as well.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Right. You had to find other ways of measuring that weren't actually measuring.
I think there's
And that
definitely
was it just degraded the gameplay.
there's definitely been a shift over the years for not just Warmachine but other war games as well, where they've moved away from that traditional. You have to guess the ranges.
Right.
Move away
Right.
from the templates, and
No,
so
it's just at this point, it's just let's have it all be open information.
Well,
right.
we're a growing population, right?
Right. Well,
and
because I mean, you
used to be
you have
easier.
The strategy is getting the list pairs together and stuff like that, and then you've got the tactics in the moment, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that requires open information.
Of course it does. Of course it does. Now, you could, I imagine, before the removal of that, being able to pre-measure, you could potentially win on your opponent guessing wrong.
Absolutely, 100%.
Right.
That's hence weaponized trigonometry.
That's never a feels good, is it?
Whoever-
That's
It's
always
terrible.
Whoever's better at coming up with a cheeky method of getting that advantage.
yeah. Like my tattoo is actually 8 inches long, and each word up to a certain point is a measurement.
Oh wow.
It's not, but it could be.
Okay.
I bet. I bet.
believe you.
I bet if you measured it, that's probably like an inch up until that point.
That's good, Ben. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that next time.
But you could do
And-
that, right? If you.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, it's nice that as you say, open information is also super easily accessible for people like myself, and my partner Kitty. We can then pick up that game and just stop, not having to deal with. Well, why can't I shoot? Well, because you didn't. You thought you were arranged, but you're not. But I want to shoot. Well, can I shoot something else? Well, no, because you've already declared.
Yeah.
It's just.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's what I would call an NPE, or a negative play experience, if it goes
Yes,
against
yeah.
you. So,
Well, and mentioning that how you like the tokens and measuring sticks and things like that, and I'm a big fan of that too. But we actually did have to tone back on the use of them because there were some players that were guilty of plotting out their entire turn with proxy bases and sticks and measurements, and then all of a sudden you have 20 plastic pieces on the table, and it's kind of no longer a miniature game at that point.
I was gonna say you've got more plastic rods than you have actual plastic
Yeah,
miniatures
exactly.
on the table, and that's just not. That's also not good. Or metal miniatures as well.
Yeah. And right now
Yeah.
we're watching Mark just take enemy models off the table, which
Yeah, he
really
is
needs to
wrecking
do
stuff right now.
Yeah,
Well, and that's what needs to happen. Otherwise,
Yeah,
like I
otherwise
said,
game over.
Krakoa's going to get a turn, going to take the points and
I assumed
go home being a winner.
Ossian's used his feet this turn, maybe with how easily some stuff's being lifted off the board.
Possibly.
It's very likely.
Yeah.
That is a 30-minute call left on the round, which roughly lines up with what we've got on our clocks and timers.
Mhm.
They did start a smidge later, so there might be a bit of alleviation there for them as well.
We've got a pause on the clock. I'm just seeing what they're trying to resolve here. Okay, nope, it's been passed over.
That's what I really like about this as well, is we
Alright,
can
so-
see when a clock is active
Yeah.
and when
Yeah.
it's paused,
Right.
which is really nice. So
Some clarifications on the piece there, and then I want to see how this is going to go down.
yeah, we'll hover over table 4 for a minute before we move over on to table 5.
Well, because this could be what wins the game.
Well, this is quite pivotal right here, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
see exactly what happens here between Mark and Arta.
Brief discussion of facing,
right.
and now we're moving on to activations and getting people squared up to do what they need to
Right.
do.
So Mark got 1 control point that turn, so it's 5-2.
Yep. So now,
If
now
Arthur
Arter
gets
would have
2.
to be able to pull off 2. Yeah.
Yes. Right.
And if he does pull off 2, he wins either way because it's first to 7.
Oh, is it first to 7 on this?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
5 difference first to 7.
All right.
Yeah, I was listening.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. That the different multiple ways to win is super nice.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, you've also got the assassination attempt if you can always do that. Try and get rid of that caster.
Well, and it can just be very satisfying to pull off.
Yeah.
Because it's usually difficult.
I do like that mechanic, you know, that we've got the capability to, you take out your army's general, a lot of stuff will then just crumble because they won't actually know what to do.
Yeah.
Particularly with like undead factions. There was way back when in old-fashioned Warhammer Fantasy, I remember one of the detriments to playing like an undead army was if your general died, that's it, you lost the game.
Right.
Yeah.
You're, as a way back Vampire Counts player.
Same thing.
Oh yeah.
Yep, as soon as he's gone.
Yeah.
Oof.
Or
And-
Tomb Kings.
And half the time, you actually want to get your general into the combat to do something because it's
They're
cool
good,
and they're
right.
great, right?
Yeah.
And it's very similar with this. You know, you've got that feat ability, and you need to be really careful about how you play and protect them, and that you don't just leave them out to dry. And
Right.
we have just seen a handshake come in for table 2 as well.
Let's swing back.
So let's just swing back real quick over there. I had
I'm
a
wondering if
pause
they
on the
also
clocks
forgot
too.
to do the
Oh, sorry. In this particular mission, this is the reason having so many scenarios is also good because we get to see loads of stuff. But to us, we forget little bits here and there about what it is. Apparently, according to Steve, it's ahead by 5 and 7 turns is the max turns, and whoever has the most at the end of 7 wins.
Yeah.
So that might be what we've seen with the handshake for.
That's what I thought. Is it was. I didn't remember there being a 7-point cap. That it
Not
was
in-
always
No, I meant to say 7 rounds.
7
Oh,
rounds.
7
That
rounds.
was,
Sorry.
that was
By
just me
5.
misspeaking.
Right.
All right, no worries. Do you want me to go and see what's happened on table 2, or would you like to go and have a cheeky nosy, John, or do you want me to do
A
it?
cheeky nosy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's yeah. Do you know what a cheeky nosy is?
Is it nosy or dozy?
Nosy.
You
You know what nosy means?
Well, yeah, you want to know somebody else's business.
He's having a cheeky nosy.
Right.
Like, it's not quite as intrusive as a normal nosy.
He's being cheeky, so he's being subtle. Will we say cheeky?
Yeah,
Subtle?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, in this particular use, the word cheeky in my vocabulary can span to about 97 different meanings.
Our vocabulary, Ben,
I definitely speak a different language to everybody else.
because I'm a cheeky.
Oh, our as in me and you.
Yes, you
Oh,
and I.
yeah. Sorry, yes, you and
Right.
I. See,
We.
even you're correcting me on our language.
Our language.
Great,
yes.
yeah. Mechanolith with the assassination there on
Nice.
over onto Magnus.
So we've got 1 for Poland, 1 for Canada.
Wow. Okay. And this is what we were just saying earlier.
Yeah.
Being able to put if Nemo might have been the general or whatever, the caster, sorry, it might have taken a bit more to get
Absolutely.
get through,
Yeah.
and the assassination attempt becomes a little bit more difficult. But then leaving them out to dry a little bit here or there by accident, or just not predicting your opponent's next move, can be crazy.
Yeah, the thing that's difficult to see with the overhead cam, but was pointed out is he managed to he tipped over his Magnus to indicate that he were dead,
Yeah.
right? And so
Unfortunate that we didn't quite see that, but we did also get a handshake on table 3. Let's have a cheeky look
did
at.
it end up happening?
Did another look. Let's have a look at what we've got going on here. My assumption is
I say we have Doug go take a look at that.
Yeah, Doug,
could
do
do
you
that.
want to go and have a cheeky?
Yeah, I'll go see,
oh no, sorry, a cheeky nosy
cheeky blundered.
at table 3 for us, please.
Oh my.
Oh, and whilst Doug's on table 3, we're going to go back to table 5 now because we've not looked at this in a while.
Yeah, this is one of the other ones that I was really interested in.
Yeah, I reckon this looks like a bit of a solid position here for.
I have a sneaking suspicion they also have failed to update their control points.
Oh, without a doubt. Maybe I need to make it bigger, but it is functional on the app. They can do it.
Yeah, because as you saw, they did it after the fact. We just forgot.
Yeah. But we can see our Mechanolith player has quite a strong position here, and it's there's not a lot for Alex here with Lucas to gain control. I mean, this is almost this is like Mechanolith all over, isn't it?
No, because we've got some of.
Yes.
Correct.
All of Lucas's
correct.
miniatures
Those
are.
the NIS over there. So yeah.
Sorry, all of Alex's miniatures are on snow bases.
Yep.
Whereas all of our Legion players' miniatures are all on green bases.
Yeah.
So that's how I've differentiated that. So we've got this control point, or this flag is very much in our Mechanolist sort of control, and this one, bearing in mind the one in the yellow circle, is the unfavorable objective here for Mechanolith.
No, but it's the one she does want to go for.
Of course, but what? Yeah, it's the harder one to get because it's further away.
Right.
Whereas
camping on the other one is a little bit easier in theory.
Yeah, which is what we've seen there. That's why they're able to rack up those control points
Doug,
on table 5.
What's the report from 3?
Oh, hang on. Go.
So Canada takes the match with assassination of Fiora.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So Fiora did in fact get overcommitted.
Well, she was actually in a trench, and he was able to knock her down. I believe with his colossal, he knocked her down, and then hit her with some rockets. I might have it backwards how he did it, but hit her with some rockets. First he took out the shield guard.
Yep.
Then knocked her down and hit her with rockets, and still had another one left. It sounds like he also rolled very well on his damage because she was camping 4 focus, so she was able to shed 20 points of damage and still die.
Rolling hot. 4. Table 4. Sorry. You could just say that. I can just go.
I didn't want to interrupt what Doug was saying.
That's okay.
Doug's a lovely human. He'd forgive you.
It's true.
Okay, so forgot the clock running there, but they're getting the forms for filling out the result.
Yeah, table 4 looks like it has
Need
also
to
got
make
a result.
another run.
Yep.
It looks like they updated the control points.
Oh, yep, there it goes.
7-2.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Poland, so we're at 2-2.
Yeah.
It's 2-2 coming down to the final point here, and both the players on that table 5 did also ask for a bit of silence because the other players have been a little noisy. And when both of them know that it is 2-2, because you're allowed to tell your teammates, the pressure's really on, so both of them need to be able to focus.
Especially because if they're not updating the control points, it's tough to know where it is.
It is. I think
I mean, you pointed out the fairly obvious, but
it's in a very, very solid position for Legion player. It's currently 2-2.
Yep. Current team score is 2 for Canada, 2 for Poland.
Yeah.
So it's gonna come down to Osage and Alex.
Which is quite nice to be able to finish on table 5 for the rest of the stream, where we can focus on it a little bit more.
Right.
And
the entire match went in order. Table 1 finished first.
Oh,
then
yeah,
2,
yeah,
then
no,
3, then
that-
4.
yeah.
It totally did. That's weird.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a very strange occurrence, and I'm
Very
not sure.
serendipitous.
it would happen that often.
I like it. I like it a lot.
But yes, it's 2-2 currently to the players, and this is our final deciding match. With just under 5 minutes left on the clock for Alex, he's used his time quite a lot. With what looks like 17 on the clock for how do you pronounce the name again? Machai. Sorry. It's
and Alex, he just paused the clock, so he's still ticking now.
Yeah. Maybe there were saves to make, reactions to do, that sort of stuff.
Could have been, yes, absolutely. I'm actually listening in on what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're rolling dice to hit and what they're hitting.
Of course they are. I reckon it's going to be, once they've updated it, it's going to be somewhere between 6-2 or something like that.
Yeah. But the judge is over there checking it. Yep. Okay, yep. Here comes
3.
some updates.
Oh.
1.
So it looks like it's just 3-1 Poland.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you so much. 3-1. I definitely need to make that bigger so it's more glaringly obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, as I was saying to somebody earlier, obviously I've built it, so I know it's there. Right. But I need to make sure that everybody else is also aware it's there.
That is the providence of the UI guru.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always do things function first before UI. Then I do make them UI pretty. It takes some time. Function before form is what I usually do.
I mean, that is the programmer's way.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm the opposite. I'm
right. Because you go the designer's way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I've got no excuse. I'm technically both, or used to be both.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've slipped more into programming because, you know, I like doing stuff for the back end admin side because I can make it filthy and dirty and quick.
So I want to see.
That looks good so
how
far.
Alex is going to use this turn.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 2 points behind, but he is 13 minutes down on the clock. He really needs to make use of that time.
He is. Yeah. He's down to 3:18, 3:17. It's going fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy how quick a second is. You don't realize, do you?
We're about to see how quick 3 minutes is if he doesn't wrap things up quick.
Yeah. We could potentially see, you know, 2 assassinations, 2 scenario wins, and then a clock out as well. We could see 3 of them.
but his demeanor's pretty calm. So
Yeah.
I think he knows what he wants to do, and it's just a matter of executing.
Yeah. So
and the last thing you want to do is rush so much that you make mistakes, especially if you have a way to stay in the game.
yeah, I think that massive house. Oh, sorry, that house in the middle of the board is creating a bit of a bottleneck for his next to be able to go to.
A little bit, yeah, but it's also he doesn't want to. There's some situations there he doesn't want to run them into.
Yeah, and
right, but I think he's gonna have to commit them if he's gonna have a chance to maneuver any chance of victory into play.
I think he's going to have to go for the assassination at this point with only 2 minutes left in the clock.
I don't know that he's going to be able to get to her.
Because what else? Can he really get enough control points in that time?
I don't.
I mean, it's not. It wouldn't be easy, but he's got to get those jacks in there if they're going to get any work done.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Because he can rely on their ranged attacks, but he needs to get the full benefit out of them.
And he's down under 2 minutes now.
Yeah.
The pressure's got to be building, must be on. You know, it's a 2-2 between the 2 players. This is the one that
Between the
makes
2 teams, yeah.
2 teams. Sorry, yeah, makes or breaks who wins, who goes 2-1 day 1, who goes 1-2 day 1. The 2-1 obviously in a favorable position to be able to podium at the tournament.
Because right now both teams they've played 2 games and they've each won 1.
Yeah, and in this game they've played 4 games. 2. Yeah, maths, numbers. It all comes down to these fleeting final minutes. As you said, Doug, we are looking at potentially seeing 3 minutes pass.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It happens a lot quicker than you'd think.
However, we did see game 1, I think it was. There was only 4 seconds left on the clock. And was it Alex managed to pull out a win? Alex again managed to pull out a different Alex managed to pull out a win? Or
No, he ended up.
Oh, did he end up losing that one?
Yeah.
But with only 4 seconds on the clock, you know, he did manage to drag out that last 6 seconds.
He was trying to maximize what he could get done.
Yeah, of course. So.
Yep, because the game's not over till it's over.
Watch their time on the table. On table 5.
Table 5.
He's down to like 30 seconds.
Our time might be slightly delayed compared to their time just because of the latency between them hitting press and us getting it.
Sure.
But it's a relatively accurate representation of what is going on.
It's close enough that I just wanted to give the head judge and to keep an eye on that so we don't have any issues.
He's going to have to pause it pretty quick and pretty sharp once he's done his dice rolls.
He's done.
I mean, at this point, it's get as many control points as you can for the team because, there is a small... I think there's a tiebreaker for control points further down the line.
All right, and there's
So he
the-
timed
And
out.
there's the time, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what his strategy was. I couldn't quite tell.
He was just
going for
trying to
something,
get
but-
everything moved.
Yeah.
But that means that Poland will take this round.
Hey, yeah.
Poland goes to 2-1.
Yep, I will come back to us, if that's all right, gentlemen.
Yes, yes.
And we can wrap up the day. Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well.
That was a good series right there, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was-
especially to just nicely complete in table order.
Yeah.
Very, very efficient, very clean.
Not having to drop back and forth was super nice, and also being able to share a bit more of the rules and sort of what we expect to be going on. Hopefully, that's a bit of more of a preview of what you can expect tomorrow. I'm gonna flip all those cameras so that we'll be able to get a left to right and be able to see exactly who's playing on which side tomorrow. And I'll make it sure that the control points are more glaringly obvious than Rudolph's nose.
Sounds good.
Well,
Yeah.
don't stay up too late tonight, Ben.
Well, I've got some beers to have. I think we've all deserved it today.
You're
But if
expected to
anything,
mingle.
beers help with the going to sleep.
That's very true.
Help with going to sleep and also help me decipher code sometimes. So I'll
Yes,
happily take
yes. No, there's a
can't
lot
help
of
you there.
efficiency gained in beer.
that. All right, I want to say
Fair enough.
a massive thank you very much. Congratulations to Poland as well. Commiserations
Great
to Canada.
job, Poland. Yes.
We saw a clock out, a couple of assassinations, and some scenario wins as well. So it was
Yeah,
nice to be able to
Got
have
the whole
that
spread.
going on. But thank you very much to the pair of you for joining me as well today. It has
again,
been
Ben.
awesome.
We're back here tomorrow together.
We are.
Bright and early.
Yeah, bright and early.
So we can be cheeky nosy.
Cheeky mechanics.
Yeah.
You guys. Do we know what time? Are we back again the same time we are this
Same time
morning?
tomorrow.
I think so.
Yep.
Yep.
9:30ish.
I think tomorrow we are looking at the top sort of tables, aren't we? As well. We're definitely streaming the
we're
final
getting there, yeah.
if we
'Cause
can.
We're into the fourth round, and then the fifth round, whether it's the final round or the second final
Right.
round, we'll know
So
as we get there.
I feel like tomorrow we're gonna have the undefeated teams in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the plan, is to try and get. With today, we tried to get stuff that aligns with people's time zones as
Absolutely,
nice
yeah.
as we could,
Yep.
because it's always nice to be able to root for your home team. So we had Australia this morning playing against France,
And then you want to have those top pairings day too.
Yeah. and then we had the USA
Or
versus
actually, no. What we
Wales.
had? I'm sorry. What did we have? Australia and France? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
it was Australia, France game
Australia,
one.
France, USA, Wales,
And then Poland, Canada now. So we'll get to see those undefeated teams tomorrow morning. We're coming back for game 4 and 5, and then possibly game 6.
Right.
So,
So come back tomorrow and join us
So,
then.
and once again, just to address that concern, that's one of the things we were focusing on today. Wasn't necessarily just showing the undefeated teams, but showing people their country's
Regions.
players
Yeah.
Right.
in the time zone in which they could actually watch them, so they could root for their teams.
perfect.
Absolutely.
And then
Perfect.
tomorrow,
Anything else? Are we? Is
We
it
are-
dinner
I
time?
think
go,
we're
it's
going to
dinner
go
time.
and hit the bar. I mean, sorry,
Let's
get
do
some dinner and have some apple juice because we're
Ben-
responsible adults.
yes.
something we do at Privateer Press. Roll drums.
See you guys later.